committee in this Mindfulness Teachers Coalition. So I hope that everyone have your dinner and also have a relaxed evening to join us in this session. All right. So for tonight, we are very honored to have one of our good friend, Charlene, all right, Charlene Teo, to join us for this session. And for tonight, all right, she is going to share on this topic, finding peace in a frantic house. All right. And this topic that she's going to present will be held in English. Right. So for Charlene, she is actually a certified trainer in MBCT, mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, and for herself, she is also a teacher in training in mindful self-compassion and also in mindfulness in school curriculum. She conducts mindfulness training for both corporate organization and as well as school. She has spent 4 years working with youth at risk from various secondary schools. Currently, in her private practice, she works with children as young as 5 years old and all the way to adolescents, young adults, couples, and families. So some of the issues that she handled include specific learning disability, relationships issues, and handling stress in the workplace. Without further ado, I shall hand over the time to Charlene. Charlene, please.
Hello, hi, good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see all of you here. If we're starting this program here today, why I chose this particular program here, finding peace in this frantic house here. It's really based on this the book that we have here, that is from Mindfulness in Finding Peace in a Frantic World. This is by Mark Williams and Danny Penman. So today's program will be based somewhat in that, basing on the theories from this book itself. So before we start going full swing into the main talk itself, I'd like to invite all of you here to a check-in exercise, if you may, right? Okay. I'd like to do a little short check-in exercise. If we could all just sit upright and do a short checking in to this particular place, right? Okay. So it'd be nice if we could, if it's okay with all of you, to turn on your video so that I can see you. Right. Yes, thank you. Right. As some of you may have followed us, last week we started our first session with Ren Shifu, right? Okay. And he did mention a little bit, right? We did have one practice of the 3 steps breathing space. This is a common checking in practice for mindfulness practices, right? So if everyone could just sit upright, in upright position, and having your feet firmly flat on the ground. Right. Just checking in to this space and coming in to where we are now, finding a place that is comfortable. Have your feet firmly on the ground. You can choose to have your eyes closed or in a low gaze, whichever that suits you. As we check into today's session here, I'd like to invite you to just take notice of the thoughts that's up in your mind, inviting that little bit of awareness of what's going on in my mind right now. Perhaps it's to wonder what brought me here today. Just pause for a moment and just noticing the events that led you to click the link and said, I'd like to come here. Or to the events that led you to where you are now in this place, at home, or anywhere that you find yourself to be. And just noticing the varied amount of thoughts that could come creeping into your mind, one thought after another. Remembering that we're just noticing the thoughts and not having any particular judgment on it. Not judging whether this thought is good or bad, but just noticing that it's here. Even the thought of, why am I here? Or the thought of, oh, I've got nothing on my thoughts. There's nothing in my mind now. That's still a thought. Just giving yourself that freedom to check in with yourself and noticing thoughts in the mind. And as we gather all these thoughts here, slowly we move into step 2, collecting all the variety of thoughts and bring that focus of attention to your breath. Following each breath as it goes in and following each breath as it goes out. Perhaps you may like to follow it every single pathway, down the back of the throat, down the chest, right down to the abdomen, and then up again to the chest, to the back of the throat, and out of the body. Again, we follow the next breath, going down the back of the throat, right down to the chest. Maybe we might even notice how the chest expands and how the chest contracts, moving up, moving down. Noticing each step of the way, the sensations that you feel as you follow the breath in and you follow the breath out. And you may find, as you're trying to focus on this breath, that at times the mind just wanders. That's okay. The mind has wandered off. Just noticing, where has it gone to? And very gently explore where it has gone to, and very gently invite the mind, come back again. We're not judging whether it's good or bad that the mind wanders, but that's what minds do. They wander. We just gently invite them back. As many times as it wanders, as many times we invite it back. Coming back to the breath, following each breath, going in, and each breath going out. Each breath going in, and each breath going out. And now, let's move on to step 3. Just imagine that the next breath will bring us slowly in and exploring it to go into every single part of your body. Just letting this breath go to every single part of the body, going in and out, in, and letting this breath go to the ends of your fingers. But just imagine letting this breath go to the ends of your toes. And sometimes you may find that when your attention gets drawn away, that's okay. Just slowly get back in, allowing this breath to bring us through to every single part of your body. And I'd like to invite you to imagine if the breath can just exit from the body through the pores of the skin, right to the space around us, just surrounding us, noticing the space around and bringing us back to this present moment and noticing the space around us and this very present moment, right on this moment, and this moment, and this moment. And when you're ready, you may gently open your eyes if your eyes were closed before. Hi, good evening, everyone. Right. For those of you who have just joined us, thank you for joining us. Today's topic here will be based on this book here, Mindfulness of Finding Peace in a Frantic World. And I like to share with you because this is a time when I think a lot of us are facing different kinds of stressors that we've not faced before. What kind of stressors are we talking about here today, right? We'll be going through practice as well as learning about what this frantic house is. I don't know whether you came here because of the title, The Frantic House, or came here with the title of Finding Peace, or just coming here for the sake of coming here. And I thank you for whatever reason that you chose to come here and spend this evening with us. We'll be going through different practices, and at the end of the whole session itself, we'll have a short session of Q&A. All right. So I hope that we'll go through this a very, very fruitful session for this 1 hour. I'd like to start off here first with this part here on the frantic house. I know that since the COVID-19 situation has started, we are in the 5th month of 2020, and a lot of changes has been happening. We've been pushed this way, that way, this way, that way. Things are going not within our control. And as a counselor, I've seen a lot of disruption in lives with my clients when they come in and speak to me. And I've also seen the records of what's happening in the Singapore Association for Counselors, the archive records of the number of cases of people feeling stress, or the number of cases of family violence has doubled within these few months. And it's scary. But what I'm thinking of here is what's happening here inside this house. Why is this house here that used to be very loving, very sweet, very harmonious, become such a chaos, become so frantic? When we get everyone inside the house, previously everyone You go to work, the father go to work, mother go to work, 8 hours away from home. The children go to school, another 5, 6, maybe 7 hours if they stay back for their CCA. People get their own me time. The mother, who's the homemaker, stays at home. She has the whole house to herself. That's her me time. Now, everyone is crowding inside the space of one household. Can you imagine everyone going inside there, squeezing themselves in? Now, every one of us needs a certain amount of space around us to let us breathe, to let us have that space of this is comfortable. I can have people coming close to me, but maybe not so close. Even if my family members, I still need some space. But now everyone has come in to one household. The father who used to go out to work, his work is now in the home. So he needs a space, but he used to have all the space in the office, but sorry, he comes to home. The mother who used to have her whole kitchen to herself, have people coming in, maybe grumbling about how she cook, how she keep her kitchen, how she organize things. And that used to be her space, but there's so many other people coming in. The children who used to have space of going to school and then now they can do whatever they want. The parents don't see now. Every single minute that they're at home, the parents are there to see every single thing. And can you imagine being monitored by your parents every single minute of the day? Yes, sometimes we become mischievous, we become naughty, we just become wild. We just want to do some things our own way. But now everybody is being monitored by everybody. The mother, the father, the children, the brother, the sister, everyone is monitoring everyone for 24 hours a day. And can you imagine having someone looking over your shoulder, looking? And that's where it is very sad to see that as we get so close, there is no space for us to breathe. And that's why there's so much conflict. When there's no space for us to breathe, we start rubbing onto each other, we start hurting each other, we start hurting the people who are closest to us. And I know many parents, after they tell me, no, after I shout, Charlene, after I shout at the children later on at night, I feel so lousy. I feel so sad. I wish I didn't shout at them. But once the words come out of the mouth, that's it. We can't take back. We can't take back. And that's what's happening behind us all the time, over our shoulder, that is looming over here like a dark cloud that's causing us distress. And we wonder, this is a frantic house. But what's outside that I'm missing? Can I perhaps even invite you, if you can, just think of it. Everyone is tired of fighting. I believe no individual enjoys fighting. No one literally wants to, oh, today I'm going to fight with my family. Today I'm going to quarrel with them. Nobody sets out the day wishing that they want to fight. But the circumstances has brought them so close together that things are beyond their control. The emotions are rubbing and the emotions are exploding because there's nowhere to go. And they wish, can I now hold back? But I can't seem to hold back. I tried and tried. They tell me, Charlene, I tried. But every time this thing comes in only, I lose my temper and then I shout out and later on I regret. They regret. They don't enjoy it. So nobody actually enjoys fighting. I've spoken to a lot of families who have been quarreling and fighting, but when I speak to them individually, they say, Charlene, I don't enjoy fighting. I don't want to fight. I wish I can don't fight. I wish I can don't shout. I wish I hadn't said those words. And that's really, really tough on each person. When we say, I don't want to fight, but my emotions run wild. My emotions run wild. What can I do when my emotions run wild? I have no more control over the emotion. The emotion is controlling me. All these different things are running wild until it's a big mess inside. It's a big, huge mess inside me, and I don't know what to do. And these are just ordinary people. They're not people who are going to see the psychiatrist, seeing the psychologist, or they're going into mental institution where it's very, very severe. These are just ordinary daily people who are, they go to work, they have happy families, but now the family's not so happy anymore because they're tired of fighting, right? And what's happening here is that there's this whole range of thoughts inside here. The thoughts that's going on inside my mind, running, running, running. It's like an old radio. I know nowadays we don't use a radio, maybe the handphone, right? You left a radio channel on and you went to sleep, but it's running inside there. The radio channel is still broadcasting, broadcasting. These are the thoughts that's still broadcasting inside our head. Even as we sleep, the thoughts are still running, running, running. And we had no control over these thoughts. These thoughts are running on, and it's repeating. The worst is repeating, like rumination. Right? Ruminating that, oh dear, this thing here, if I shout at this, or my daughter shout at me, or my son shout at me, and it means that they don't love me, they hate me, and then I start have these thoughts that they hate me. Why did they shout at me? Why did this thing go on? What did they do? How come they're doing this to me? Why do they do this to me? All this why, that's going inside my head all the time. Until such that even at night, they find it hard to sleep. At night, it's so hard to sleep because it's running on in their head. The mind's like a running commentary. The mind is running on and on. Sometimes, you see, these thoughts here, it's like a little rumor. Sometimes we know that rumors don't really exist, right? Rumors don't really, are not really true, because you've heard before rumors. Rumors go on. One friend tell another person tell another person, another person tell another person. And then, the rumors spread wild, but how much of it is really true? And sometimes it may only be half true. Or sometimes it may be totally, completely not true. That's what rumors are. Unfortunately, what's happening with our mind here is that, okay, when these rumors start running around inside my head here, the mind is such that it is not able to differentiate the fact and the fiction, what is true, what is real, and what is not real. The minute it starts constructing one picture in the mind, that is the model of the world that's up in the mind. It's already like crafted in there. This is my mental model. And when I see this mental model, after a while, when it keeps repeating, I start believing that it's true, because this has been inside there, running commentary on and on and on. Imagine an old show keep running on in your head, running on in your head, running on in your head. After a while, it runs 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. We start believing, yeah, it's true. Yeah, my daughter don't love me anymore. Yeah, because she shout at me, that's why she don't love me. Yeah, my mother don't love me anymore. Yeah, my husband is very angry with me. And I start believing. Because why? It stays running inside here. So for these reasons here, these rumors that's going up in the head is so powerful. It can shake off, it derails not just the minds of individual people, it can shake off the whole society, it can shake off the whole family. Right? It is going to handicap the whole family. It is going to break the whole family apart when we let these thoughts run wild inside us. Right? Just remember one thing, okay, ladies and gentlemen, just remember your thoughts here, they are just thoughts. They can run wild, they run in and out, in and out. Anytime they feel like coming inside the head here, they run in here. Now the thoughts here are like your servants. Remember, no matter how much they shout, they are not the master. The thought is not the master. The thought can keep coming in and out, even like a running around and around, feeling like if it wants to come in, it comes in. Wants to go out, it goes out. It just runs wild. They're not the masters, and we don't need to listen to them. They may sound like they're giving orders, waiting to be obeyed, but we don't need to pay attention and follow what they say. We just notice that, yes, hey, this thought is coming in here again. Noticing, having that awareness that, oh, I have that funny thought coming again. I have that thought again. Now, let's pause. Having that awareness. Mark Williams talked about having that realization. If I can just realize when these thoughts are coming in, I get that little bit of freedom because I know I have an understanding towards how my brain is working. I have an understanding that it's these thoughts that's running away, it's these thoughts that's making me think wild things. And then I know that I need that space. If I want to make a decision now, I have to check in with these thoughts and wondering what's happening with these thoughts. In order for me to make decisions, I need to have awareness. Awareness for me to make decisions. I was in the Oxford Mindfulness Center last year to take the certification for finding peace in a frantic world, and to understand what it means here when we talk of this frantic world here, to understand what's going on in people's minds when they're going wild, and how come we allow this wildness to come inside here and settle and take residency here. I'm allowing all these to come inside here. It's like giving them free rental. You're renting out a space in your mind to this funny thoughts here and this. Okay, like you can stay here for free. Giving them a free rental space here. Right? So, how is this brain here wired then? Whenever a difficulty comes to mind, the brain's habitual reaction is, this is bad. This is the enemy. This is a horrible thought. It's the enemy. Shut it out. Shut it out. This is no good. This is no good. Shut it out. It starts treating this thought as a difficulty. This is the enemy. I'm not even going to think of what creative approach because it is no good. Pause for a while. Yes, my daughter shouted at me, or yes, my son shouted at me. Yes, my husband shouted at me. Or yes, we had a horrible quarrel. The brain will just wire that this is bad, this is enemy, treat them all as enemies. But let's stop for a while. Pause. That's what mindfulness wants. Mindfulness asks us to pause. We're not judging whether it's good or bad, but yes, now we had this thing happening. I had an argument with my family. We are all stuck in the house. It is chaos. Children may call it organized chaos. Mommy, my room is organized chaos. It's messy, but it's chaos. Let's stop for a while and look for a creative approach. Let's look for a different perspective to look at things. I've also found families who found that this little situation of being together is a time where they enjoyed. They finally could meet mommy and daddy, because mommy and daddy used to come back from work very late. And now finally I can see mommy and daddy every day. Can we treasure that? And mommy and daddy say, usually when I come back, my children are so tired. Now I can finally get to see them. Treasure these moments. Treasure the moment of being able to see them rather than treasure the moment of I can check all their homework. What happens? Why do they ask, oh dear, now mommy and daddy will be checking my homework every single day, every single piece of homework. Die lah, how am I going to do? Right? And then they run to a room and you don't see them forever. Now, if we want to connect with our children, what is the most critical thing in our mind? If we wish to connect, if I want to have a good relationship, If every day, every single minute I'm asking about homework, 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 will I get myself closer to my children, or will I get myself further and further away? What is your aim? At the workplace, you've learned how to set smart goals and all that. But then those smart goals, does it come into the home or not? I want to be closer to my children. The minute I come home or come in through the door or enter their bedroom, have you done your homework? You know, you have so many hours of e-learning to do. Have you done them or not? Your teacher's asking. And we ask them. Is it a time for monitoring so closely? Or do we want to sometimes just take note? Yes, yeah, we're here together. Is my purpose of being here together to monitor every single thing of every single body in the house, every single one? Or do I want to treasure the moments that I can have, the quality moments, the nice moments of everybody in the house? Treasure every moment, every minute, rather than making use of every minute to monitor and check and check. It's tiring being a monitor. It's like being a prison warden. Am I going to be checking on everybody? Have you done your homework? Have you cleaned this? Have you cleaned that? Have you brushed your teeth? Have you bathed? Have you packed your toys? Have you do this? Have you do that? Tired or not? Do you feel tired? I feel tired just saying it. Relax a little bit. Move on a little bit. All right. I know this virus here has spread around the whole world. The results have shown so many things are happening all over the world in the families. Yes, in the workplace, it's affecting a lot in the workplace. But my worry here is that as this virus come into families, come into the society, we may be all inside the house and you're kind of safe there. At this moment, treasure that. Treasure that. Treasure that we are here and that we're still surviving. Have we ever thought of that? When we're ill, are we still going to be checking on the homework? Are we still going to be checking on this or asking them to do this, do that, do this, do that? Are those things ever going to matter? You notice that when we were all asked to come and stay at home, suddenly all the essential services which we had taken for granted were really, really essential. But we never did notice it. And suddenly, when they start categorizing so many other organizations, businesses, all that became non-essential. And you suddenly realize that, hey, what are the non-essential and what is the real essential? What is the real thing that really, really mattered to each one of us? Your family, your health, or are we going to grumble about things which can be put aside? I'm not saying put away totally, can be put aside, can be parked aside. Is that the most important priority in your whole list of priorities? Rearrange the priorities, list them all out. All the things they need to do today, list them all out and put which is the main priority, which is truly, truly important to you. And then we will know. We will know what is truly important in our life. I know you're in a home now. If you can, if the window is nearby, take a moment and just flick open and look outside the window. And just take a look. What do you see? And also notice, what are the thoughts that come into mind with what you see? When you look at the things outside, the trees, the cars, or if you can see people walking, what are the things that really matter? What thoughts come to your mind as you look outside there? Even the sky, the dark sky, the road. Just take a look outside there because that's something really, really to be treasured. At the start of the COVID, when some were able to go out, some were not, and I happened to be driving down the road, and I realized that the road was so empty. And it's scary to see the road so empty, nobody walking on the side of the street, and hardly any cars on the road. And you wonder, wow, what's the situation really like now? If we can take a look outside. Remember, Professor Mark Williams shared with me during the course last year. There's no experience so horrible that you can't make it worse by how you think about it. Because you see, the minute the situation is already bad as it is, now we add in our thoughts. It's like you're adding in extra things that's going to make your mind go wild. What kind of extra things, right? Okay. The difficulty that we don't have control, the COVID, I don't have control. It is here. It decides to come inside here. That's something that's unavoidable. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, here, the optional suffering that we're facing, our reactivity, how I reacted to this thing that's unavoidable, this thing that's already here. How did I react to it? Can I react to it, or can I respond to it in a different way? The optional suffering, I let it run wild in my head. Even when I'm sleeping, it's going in, out. Oh dear, this situation here, and it's going to kill, it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad, and it's bad. My children are here, it's bad, and it's not doing the homework, that's bad, and they didn't keep the toys, that's bad, and somebody's grumbling at my food, that's bad, and they don't like my cooking, and that's bad, and I've got somebody else grumbling at this thing here, grumbling at that, and nobody's keeping their clothes, that's bad. And all these things are going on inside my head. Ruminating. These are the optional suffering. These thoughts here, can I catch hold of these thoughts here? Noticing what's happening. These thoughts are the thing that's making me go bonkers. These thoughts are the thing that's making me go wild. What's happening inside here? I've got one area that's not within my control, the COVID. That's not. Can I make the best of this situation here? In every crisis, yes, I know it's a challenge, it's danger. There's also an opportunity. In every challenge, there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity for something if we can look for it. Can we see this? That every crisis, there's an opportunity. If we can look for it, there's an opportunity for me to connect with my children. There's an opportunity for me to be on better terms with my husband or my wife. There's an opportunity for me to understand them. Oh, I never knew that my child likes this thing here. Oh, I never knew that my child hated this food. There's an opportunity to learn about the people around us if we take hold of it. Are we ready? Now, today's session here also, I'd like to share with you now, what is this mindfulness approach here? It involves employing a different mode of mind with which to process this difficulty. And this involves working through the body. Because I can't control my mind, I can, however, control what's working inside my body. So remember earlier on the first check-in exercise, I asked you to focus on what's happening in your body. Whether you notice any particular changes as the breath was going in. Now, if I can attend to these bodily sensations, I can sometimes reduce the intensity of the thinking. I can't take away the thoughts. I've got no control over whether thoughts will come in or not. However, intensity by focusing on the different parts of the body that is so intense that is driving me nuts. And what is this here all about here is that we have two modes of mind here. our thinking, which is running wild, comparing about this, planning this, I got so many things to do, analyzing, goal setting, remembering all the 1,001 things I have to do today. And we have the other mode of our mind, which we hardly use, the sensing, tasting, touching, or hearing, or smelling. That's the sensing part that helps us to keep us grounded. If I can sense what's happening, I'd like to invite you to another mindfulness practice here that we're going to explore using these senses here for this session here, all right? So if we could go into another sitting posture here, right? You can choose to sit or you can choose to stand if you wish, or if you choose that today has been a really tiring day, you wish to lie down, you may do so as well, right? So I'd like to invite you to this practice. Now, inviting your mind and your body to this place, sitting in an upright position, feet firmly on the ground, grounded, and adopting a posture of dignity and awareness. And just checking in to this moment, settling in with this body and this breath. Perhaps giving particular attention to the grounding sensations of the lower body, the feet firmly in the ground, the sit bones sitting on the chair or on the floor, hands and breath. Perhaps appreciating the steadying and anchoring qualities of these sensations. Now noticing sometimes your attention may be pulled away with or with other thoughts. Just gently invite them back again. And I'd like you to bring your focus of attention to an area of discomfort or intensity in your body, or to unpleasant thoughts or emotions that has been bothering you for this period. If so, just focus on these thoughts and perhaps noticing as you had these thoughts here, which particular part of the body has the strongest intensity of sensations. As I'm focusing on the last quarrel that I had, I'm focusing on the last stress that I felt because I could not complete my work. Which part of the body felt the strongest intensity? And as you recall those unpleasant thoughts or emotions, very gently bring your attention to that part of the body that has the greatest intensity. And imagine, if you could, breathe into that particular part. As each breath goes in and out, and allow it to just enter that part that felt the most strained, the greatest intensity. As you do this practice, remember that at any time, if your mind wanders, just bring it back to the anchor of the feet or the breath. And any time you notice that it's getting a bit difficult, just very gently give yourself a pause, noticing the difficulty, noticing the challenge, noticing if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed. And perhaps investigating, watching what's happening when I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. Which part of the body feels more strained or more stretched? Or which part of the body feels like it's really painful? Just breathe into that part of the body and just allowing the sensations to go with the breath and following each breath going in and out. Again, following the breath all the way from the time it enters the nostril, right down the back of the throat, and to wherever that is most intense, wherever that's most uncomfortable. And just practicing, allowing the body to behave as it does. Remembering we're not expecting you to breathe in any particular way, but just allowing the body to do what it does best. It knows what to do. We don't need to guide it. And with the next moment, following this breath, following the breath as it goes in and as it goes out, slowly treasure this moment and just think of, what can I be thankful for? As I treasure this moment, yes, I had a lot of difficult times today. Was there something pleasant too? Was there something that I need for myself? Perhaps to take care of myself. Sometimes to just gently appreciate myself too. I'd like you to invite you to put a hand either on your chest or your tummy and just hold it there for a moment. And just feel the breath going in and out. As you have a hand on your chest or on your tummy, or both hands on your chest or on your tummy, just allowing each breath going in and each breath going out. Giving yourself that space for yourself. Perhaps sharing this thought in your mind. May I be safe and well in the midst of this. May I be safe and well in the midst of this. May I be peaceful in the midst of this. May I be peaceful in the midst of this. May I live with ease and with kindness in the midst of this. May I live with ease and with kindness in the midst of this. And as you have these phrases going in your mind, when you're ready, letting go of the phrases and coming back to this moment of the breath for a few minutes. Just slowly release the phrases and coming back to the breath for a few minutes. Following the breath, going in and out, in and out. And now, with your arms, your palms open, whether the palms are on the lap or on the table, perhaps just having this thought in the mind, a fundamental thought that recognizes our commonality with others, with everyone around us. And we all desire that happiness and freedom from suffering. May all beings be safe and well. May all beings be safe and well. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings live with ease and with kindness. May all beings live with ease and with kindness. And holding your body and your heart with your breath, knowing that at any time, whenever you feel stressed, your breath is always there to keep you anchored for this moment, and this moment, and this moment. Right. When you're ready, you may open your eyes and just a little thought of the day. I like this quote from the Frantic World itself. Spend a moment each day to just have your quiet me time to practice this as if your life depended on it. Because for many ways, it does. It does depend on it. And for then you will be able to live your life fully, the life that you have, and live it as if it truly mattered. If we can do that, give yourself an opportunity to do so. Right. Thank you. If
Okay, so we have reached the Q&A session. Thank you, Charlene, for bringing us tonight's session. It was a very insightful and, uh, helpful session where we actually, I talk about the frantic house, and we also mention about people are having a little bit of like struggle and conflict due to maybe the circuit breaker, all right, due to the frequent meeting within the household, parents, children, or even couples, having their little conflicts. All right. So, having said this, Charlene has actually brought us to go through the frantic house in a mindful way. And so, if anyone have any questions, you may actually switch on your mic and post Charlene a question, or you can actually type the question on the chat box, which is located on the right hand side of your Zoom function. So you may actually ask some questions uh, for Charlene. Yeah. And in case if there is any one who wants to ask in Mandarin, you can also ask so in Mandarin. 那些对于今天的讲座有任何问题的这些参与者呢，你们也可以就是通过这个 Zoom 的这个视频来跟我们提问我们的这个讲解员 Charlene 对于今天的这个讲座有任何的问题，也欢迎你就是使用我们的这个留言处那可以就是就是以你的这些疑问，把它 post 在那个疑问处这个留言处，对不起。All right, so maybe I kick off the first question. So this is a question for myself. All right, Charlene. So I'm Billy. So I'm also the host. So I'm just wondering, because of our frantic lifestyle, all right, be it at home or be it in workplace, all right. So is there any kind of like short exercises that one could do in order to settle our mind?
Yes. Yeah, we can do the first initial one, which was the 3-step breathing space, right? The 3-step breathing space, which we had earlier in the beginning part of where we did the check-in that time. Okay. I could show you the slide a little bit. The 3-step breathing space. Right. This is the 3-step breathing space here, right? We started off with having that awareness of our thoughts, gather all the thoughts, whether it's good or bad, but not judging whether it's good or bad, but just gathering them and bringing them together. And the second step to the second part is gathering them and focusing on our breath. We can check in with our breath and just building that awareness of that breath going in and out, in and out. And the last step here, bring that awareness to the rest of the entire body. So with these 3 steps here, we can do it whether with the eyes closed or eyes open, or you can do it even on the MRT and the bus, even when you're standing, your eyes is open, you still can just process, I've got these thoughts here, and then I go to my breath, and I catch my breath, and then I breathe out to the rest of the parts of the body. And I've worked with these with a number of children, especially before they're going for their exams, or when they're going for their oral. When they're sitting outside the hall, it's super scary. You can see the whole hall, but they are really, really are the butterflies in the tummy. This is really, really good for that. Or sometimes when adults are going in for a work presentation or going for a work interview, then they use this 3-step breathing space because they're feeling the anxiety inside them. And I use this 3-step breathing space for myself as well, whenever I feel that my emotions are also going wild. So remember, the emotions going wild is a very normal thing. It's not something that, it's bad, but yes, our emotions will run wild. And we just need to notice and give yourself a break. Hope that answers
So
your question, Billy.
yeah, you answered the question. Thank you. So there's another question by W.Y. Ling. All right. She asks, is mindfulness suitable for children and teenagers?
Yes, I have worked with a number of children in schools. In schools, I've worked with PSLE cohorts as well as with teenagers itself. And it's really teaching them, giving them an extra tool. Remember, doing this mindfulness doesn't mean that they don't need to study. They still need to study. But doing this mindfulness makes them better equipped to study, better equipped to do the task that they're supposed to do. So it's like having an extra tool inside my tool bag. And anytime that I feel stressed, I notice I'm feeling stressed, I have an extra thing to help myself. I don't need to keep depending on other people to come and help me. I know I need to help myself. So the children there will be able to learn how to use that. In fact, today we just received a particular website article that in Italy, they actually did a research with children with ADHD and children with ADD, and they had marvelous progress with these children here, where they taught the children how to use mindfulness to address their different symptoms, their different urges to do things. And they found that the children were more settled when they are using mindfulness practice.
Mm,
Okay. Yeah.
okay, sure. Another question. So is by To Tan Ping. So he asks, yeah, any effective way to teach an adult not to be judgmental?
Ah, so how to teach an adult not to be judgmental? Um, we don't have control over another human being, right? So the only person that we have control over is ourselves, right? Okay. We can't control another living, breathing human being who has a mind of their own. So when we start saying that this person is judgmental, what actually are we doing ourselves here? Right? What's happening inside us that made us feel that this person is judgmental? If I know I don't have control over this person, but can I do something with myself because the that person's behavior is impacting me, and I'm allowing that person's behavior to impact me and making me feel uncomfortable. That person may have forgotten all or whatever they did or say. I've got no control over them, but I can control the thoughts that's coming inside my head here. Remember earlier on the other slide that I had where it says the power of thoughts. I don't have control over what this person's going to do. That is a horrible situation. That's the uncontrollable situation. That's something that I can't avoid. But I have control over what thoughts that's going to come inside here. And that's an optional suffering I'm feeling. I'm engaging with suffering here. I'm suffering because I feel that this person is judgmental. Can I pause and think, what makes me feel that this person is judgmental? And am I going to allow this person's judgmental words to stay with me forever? Is it true or not true? If it's not true, do I want to hold on to it because that person has said and gone off already, may not think twice about it, but I'm still holding it for the whole day, for the whole week, for the whole month, for the whole year. I'm still holding it to what that fella said. He said it and I'm so angry, I'm so angry. I'm allowing this thought to stay inside and park inside here. Let this thought, don't give them free rental space. Your mind here is precious. So these thoughts here, if they're not worth thinking and you already feel it's unfair, it's judgmental, let this thought go out. Trust yourself, know yourself, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, right? Believe in yourself.
All
Yes.
right. So we are ready at 9:04. Can I just check with all the participants if there is any last question for Charlene? If not, we thank Charlene once again, all right, for sharing this topic with us tonight. Personally, I do benefit from it, and I believe all the participants would have the similar benefits through attending this session. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, so for next session, on next Wednesday, we are going to have myself, all right, to bring in the topic on forgiveness and gratitude. It will be seeking forgiveness and gratitude. So, just a little bit of synopsis towards today